Well, could the definition of what it means to be fully vaccinated soon be changing? Dr. Fauci creating some confusion after previously saying booster shots are essential and should be standard. He's now walking back that claim, saying you don't need a booster shot to be considered fully vaccinated, but admitting that could change. Watch.
People should not be put off by the fact that as time goes by and we learn more and more about the protection, that we might modify the guidelines. That's what we've been saying all along. By follow the science. Things change, and you have to follow the data.
Let's bring in Dr. Nicole Saphier. She's a Fox News medical contributor. Dr. Saphier, it's always great to see you. Dr. Fauci saying, look, don't be surprised if the goalposts move yet again. In fact, we have a couple of governors that are saying, the definition of fully vaccinated is not until you get the booster shot. It seems like that's where we're going, and you wonder why public trust is kind of lost and people are skeptical.
Well, Trace, at least Dr. Fauci is acknowledging that the goalpost may move because it has moved multiple times on multiple occasions throughout the last year and a half. So at least he's saying, hey, it's going to change. But here's the thing. I think we need to stop looking at in terms of fully vaccinated and non-vaccinated as opposed to should we be looking at into fully immune versus non-immune. So what have we been seeing? Well, the CDC just recently updated their data on breakthrough cases involving hospitalizations and deaths for September and October. And the good news is, while you are still about 6 times as likely to test positive for COVID if you're unvaccinated, you're still 14 times as likely to die from COVID if you're unvaccinated compared to those who are vaccinated. So the vaccines are still doing some work. However, the gap is narrowing, and that is because multiple studies, as well as just real-time data, what people are seeing, you're seeing more breakthrough cases. That's because the immunity is waning from these vaccines the longer we get out, which is why the boosters are being recommended. But here's the question, Trace. What about all the people who were fully vaccinated and then got a breakthrough infection? Should that be considered fully immune or fully vaccinated? We know the natural immunity from that breakthrough infection likely boosted their immunity. So do they also need to get a booster? It can't be so one size fits all here. It needs to be, let's be looking at immunity, and with that involves natural immunity.
You know what I get asked a lot, Dr. Saphier, is, and people say, why is it Florida has no mask mandates, no vax mandates, and they're doing really well with COVID, right? I mean, the media won't tell you that, but they are. And you have some of these blue states that have vax mandates and have mask mandates that are not doing very well. Vermont, Minnesota, Colorado. What's going on here?
Well, really, it's more seasonal. It's not necessarily the mandate or non-mandate. What we saw in the Sun Belt area a few months ago was a really hard Delta wave, lots of hospitalizations, lots of deaths. The Northeast at that time was doing pretty okay. Well, times are changing, the weather's changing, and it's going to flip a little bit. You're going to see a rise in cases in the Midwest and the Northeast, and we're starting to see that now. Cases have started to plateau, and they're at a pretty significant level. But the great news is hospitalizations and deaths are continuing to decline, and that is because we have high immunity rates in the population. So people just need to move forward knowing that, listen, vaccinated, unvaccinated, you can get COVID, you can transmit COVID, so make smart decisions.
So today, the TSA agents have to be vaccinated or they could be out. The TSA Administrator David Pekoski says this, quoting here, there is a potential if you do not have an approved exemption and not vaccinated that you will lose your job. And we also know that a lot of these TSA agents have asked for medical and religious exemptions. They could be, if they don't get them, they could be pulled right ahead of the travel season. It could be a mess.
It's going to be a huge mess, and these mandates make no sense if they don't account for natural immunity.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Dr. Saphier, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and we very much appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.